and welcome back to another video, and if you're here for the first time, it's nice to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we've got no debt and we've paid off the mortgage. We live a thrifty, frugal and money saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Sunday we bring you an aspect of our private life and something that we've done personally to save money. Now I love a bit of upcycling, a bit of recycling, a bit of make, do and mend. And if I can get something for next to nothing and make something out of it, I'm your woman. Today I took a €1 vintage linen French sheet that has completely disintegrated in the middle. You can see it's worn out in the middle, but I bought it anyway because this is something I learned from my mum. When a sheet got a bit old, what you did is you harvested the rest of it and you turn it into pillowcases. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. Enjoy the video. Buy these vintage French linens as it's such amazing quality to sleep on, and I love the heritage too. Being frugal and careful with money means we believe that good quality that lasts is always worth investing in. I've had my high definition Seriouslight for over a year now, and the perfect illumination enables me to sew and work in ease and comfort. They're a fantastic British company who hand make these lights in Aylesbury in the UK. The daylight wave technology replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as possible. They're offering £100 off and free delivery of the high definition range with the code SR502. The link is in the description box below. Now let's get into the pillowcase tutorial so you can upcycle vintage linens too. So here is my sheet, and as you can see, taking off the €1 sticker that I paid for it from the charity shop, I bought it a huge sheet like this, knowing it had a hole in it, knowing it was worn in one place, and that's it. But the rest of the sheet is perfectly usable. Now once upon a time we used to all put a big patch over our sheets, didn't we? They never ever felt comfortable to sleep on. This is also a vintage sheet, and it doesn't fit a modern sized bed. It just isn't big enough. I bought it specifically because I knew I could get a massive amount of fabric out of this for €1. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to reuse it and make the best of this, because they really do not make sheets of this quality anymore. I mean, this is like linen sheets. They're such good quality. If I were to go out and buy this fabric now just to make pillowcases, it would be absolutely unaffordable. But as I said, like I knew when I bought this, it had a hole in it. So all of this fabric cost me €1, and I will be able to make myself a whole new set of pillowcases. To making your pillowcase, you can measure your pillow, which I think is a bit difficult, or you can actually measure your pillowcase. So this is what I did. My cutting mat has the measurements on it, and I started off by measuring the width, and absolutely seam to seam I've got 19¼ inches, so I'm going to call that 19½. So it's 19½ wide, and then I've got the lengths. And let's work this out, because it's just one continuous length all the way around. And it is 28 inches, obviously on both sides. So that's 28 times 2, 56. Then I've got this bit. Let's see how much there is there. And I've got 5 inches, plus this is a double, this is folded over twice. So we'll call that another inch as well. So that's 6 inches for this part. And then the outside, that's folded over as well. So I've got ½ inch inside and this. So let's measure that one. That one is 2.5 inches. So if I add all that together up, the 56 plus the 6 plus 2.5, I've got 64.5 inches. 19.5 inches wide, 64.5 inches in length. And that is what I'm going to cut from my great big sheet. So here is my sheet, and I'm at the good end. I'm at the end that doesn't have any holes in it, and it's far less worn at this end. So let's measure how wide it is. So we are 35, 70, so I've got plenty. I'm not going to bother cutting that again. And then I know I need to be 19.5 wide. So I'm going to give myself some margin for error. So 19.5, I'm going to cut that to about 24 inches. And the lovely thing about fabric is it just cuts down the grain. And I just do this. And the rest will be harvested to make more pillowcases, because I hope to get as many as I can out of the good parts of this great big vintage sheet. And it's really, really heavy. It's lovely. In the summer, this heavyweight cotton, this linen, is so cool, and in the winter it's so warm. So now I've shown you how I measure it and how I get it almost to the right width. I'm going to get this pressed so I can cut it exactly to 19.5 inches wide and exactly to 64.5 inches in length. Okay, I've given it a really good iron. I've folded it over. I've got it on a line so I know it's straight. I'm using a ruler to help me cut it. If you don't have a ruler, you could just do it by eye. I mean, it's not a garment. You're not going to wear it. So, but it's best if you've got a ruler, and you could just mark it. And if you've got a rotary cutter, you can just do what I do, and you could just cut it. I put the weights on here so my ruler doesn't move, because the ruler can, and it does, slip. So I'm now going to turn it around, and although I wanted it to 19.5 inches, I'm going to give myself room for error. Room for error. So I don't make a mess of it. Because even though the fabric was very cheap, and I'm upcycling it, I still don't want to waste it, do I? So I'm putting it over here. I'm starting it on the 10. And I know if I make it, so it would be 19.5 inches. So if I take it to the 20, so it would be 19.5. So if I take it to there, it gives me a whole inch to make a mess. Put that that way. Go. Same again. I'll put my ruler on it. So I've measured it to 10, got 20 inches. Checking it twice is, oh my goodness, anybody who cuts anything will tell you they've done it wrong. But you can do it wrong. Put my weights on it so my ruler doesn't move. Move my hand up the ruler as I'm doing it. And all of that fabric now is a nice tidy strip that I can use in my quilting. There we go. And now I just need to cut it to the right length. So I have my fabric to the right length, and I'm going to start off by, I've got an inch at one end. I'm then going to press that again and show you how I turn that into a 1/2 inch seam. So let me press that again and show you what I mean, and then I will sew the seam down. So there is the seam. So it was a 1 inch seam, and then I folded it again, folded it over, and I've pressed it. And what I'm going to do now is sew down this seam. So just put that on a wide chop for you. You can see this is the width of the pillowcase, and that will and I'll sew that down. So what I have here is the inside flap of my pillow. I've got the seam sewn over, sewn down, sew it to the front, sew it to the back. It doesn't really matter, it's inside the pillow. I've pinned it in place so I know how long this is. I've got the rest of my pillow now, pillowcase, and I have measured the length. Now I know my pillowcase needs to be 28 inches. I've got this one at 30. All I need to do when I'm making a set of pillowcases is keep them all the same size. They're a bit bigger, they're a bit smaller. It's not a big deal. I'm upcycling. I'm using a €1 linen vintage sheet here to get as much out of it as I can. So this one here is the other part of the pillow. I don't know what you call it. What's the structure of a pillow called? I'm going to fold this in half and sew it again. And again, it doesn't matter if you sew it at the front, it doesn't matter if you sew it at the back, nobody's going to see it. It will be on the inside of the pillow. So I'm going to get that sewn, and then I will pin it and show you how you pin it in place to sew it. And all I'll have is 2 seams. That's it. It's so easy to make pillowcases. I wonder why I ever bought them. So there is my pillowcase, and you can see underneath I've got my pillow flap with the edge sewn, and then the other pillow edge with it sewn. So I folded it and I folded it again, and that's about 1.5 inches. So it was about 3 inches fold and then fold back to 1.5 inches, and then this part is going to tuck under here, and I'll pin it so I can sew it, and I'll show you that when I've done that. Let me show you how this works. So there's the pillow flap, there's the pillow edge underneath. This comes over. I'm going to pin it all the way around and sew either sides. I don't need to sew the end, just either sides. I will pin it and show you that afterwards. So I've pinned one side. I've had to fold that back to get it in shot, and I've pinned the other side as well. And I will sew up either side, and then I will also zigzag stitch that as well so it doesn't fray underneath it. And that's it. All I have to do is turn it the right way round and the pillow is done. And there is the edge. You can see I've sewn it, and I'm not the world's greatest sewer. You see where I've done a back stitch and gone back, I haven't gone exactly over the same line. So I've sewn it down, and then I've sewn again with a zigzag stitch to stop it from fraying. Let's just zoom out and show you that. There it is on both sides. And all I have to do now is turn this the right way round. Here is my finished pillowcase. So simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of stitching. It's all it takes to make a pillowcase. And if you've got any sheets at home that got a hole in, and you can use the outside edges of this, because it's only a thin strip, it's only 20 inches wide to make the pillowcase, you can use it up. So there it is. So simple to make. Very, very pleased with that. Oh, they don't make quality like that anymore, do they? Linen. I have no idea how much you would pay for linen bedding or linen pillowcases. But here in a charity shop, it's €1 if you're prepared to put in a bit of work. Maybe in your charity shop they've got some good quality old bedding that they're selling for very, very little because there's a hole in it, and you can be bothered to turn it into some pillowcases. So a bit of effort, a bit of make do and mend, you can save masses of money. I have no idea what those would cost now. They're heavy. Linen is really heavy. It really feels warm and comfortable. Anyway, enough from me. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you to everyone who hits the like button. Thank you to everyone who leaves a comment, and I read everyone. Tell me, do you upcycle? Do you fix things and turn it into something else? And if you do, what have you done recently? We love to hear from you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.